let's talk about 10 of the most controversial video games of all time. So, don't subscribe just yet. I will earn your subscription by the end of this video, and don't leave a like just yet. Watch the video all the way through, and if you actually like the video by the end, make sure to leave a like. It really helps me out that you want to see more just like this. Alright, let's dive right into our first video game. Custer's Revenge was a fully fledged title that was released on the Atari 2600 in 1982 by Mystic. It is arguably one of the most offensive games to have ever been released. Set in the American frontier, players had to get their fully erect character across a field while avoiding obstacles such as flying arrows. The target is a non-clothed Native American girl tied to a pole. The game's non-consensual and disrespectful portrayal of Native Americans caused outrage. Atari would sue the creators for damaging their brand. Rights groups representing women and Native Americans protested it, and the publisher eventually pulled the game from store shelves. The sequel to the equally controversial Postal, the sequel released in 2003 across a range of PC platforms. The first-person shooter attracted criticism from the media and charities due to its inclusion of hyper-violence. It allows players to murder hundreds of civilians. Outrage also stems from the apparent racist, sexist, and homophobic themes present in the title. Several countries have banned the sale of Postal 2, and New Zealand has even made it to an offense to be in possession of the game. The Office of Film and Literature Classification said, the game is designed and has the capacity to allow the player to test how much violence and humiliation he or she can inflict on human beings. Anyone caught with the game faces a fine up to $1,400. Although the Call of Duty franchise has never been afraid to shy away from portraying controversial themes, no Russian mission from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 might have overstepped the line. The level had players acting as an undercover CIA agent who has to participate in a terrorist attack in a Russian airport, opening fire on dozens of civilians. Contentious as soon as it became public knowledge. In order to avoid censure in both Japan and Germany, the developers altered the mission so that shooting the civilians would fail the mission. For Russian releases, the scene was removed completely. For the rest of the world, players are given the option to skip a disturbing or offensive mission, meaning that you can still play as a terrorist and shoot up innocents in a COD game as a US soldier. The Leisure Suit Larry series may seem like a jovial relic of a time when political correctness was less important, but the game was still able to cause a significant amount of controversy. Several stores refused to sell or advertise the title, and some employees did not even want to work on the project at the development studio. Now, what was the issue with this game? The issue with this is the misogynistic tone of Leisure Suit Larry. The game treats women as nothing more than as objects to be won over, and this led to disapproval from many players. Created by the same team behind the Grand Theft Auto series, Manhunt is arguably the most controversial of all the Rockstar franchises. The main problem with the game is the sadistic and graphic ways in which the player has to kill their opponents. Many felt that these violent acts would encourage copycats, and some even blamed the game for murder in the UK. Despite protests by politicians around the world, the developers even went on to create a sequel that was just as controversial. It would be reasonable to expect that if gamers were going to get upset over Duke Nukem Forever, it would be because of its decade-long development cycle rather than the content. But this time, it was not the case. Many users were put off by the striking sexism present in the game. Not only are women treated as nothing more than S objects, but one game mode seemed to promote violence against them. The Capture the Babe mode has players carrying females to their base. It also gave players the option of slapping them on the bottom if they freaked out. Despite the series always having a somewhat immature attitude towards women, some critics felt that this went too far. Considering how much violence is present in every Grand Theft Auto game, it might surprise you to learn that the biggest controversy for the series came from the S Act. The Hot Coffee mod gave PC players the chance to unlock many games present in the code of San Andreas. These centered on S scenes that users could play through between the main protagonist and other women. While they were inaccessible during normal gameplay, the fact that they were still technically in the game led to ESRB opening an investigation. Some stores also refused to sell this game. When Mortal Kombat first became available in 1993, it instantly became known for its ultra-violent finishing moves. Players are able to commit a series of horrific and brutal killings, such as ripping out a competitor's heart at the end of matches. A lack of a rating system meant that children would also be able to buy and play the game, creating a huge uproar from politicians and parent groups. The outrage caused the gaming industry to create the self-regulated ESRB just 5 months later. Rockstar's open-world adventure game, Bully, was released in 2006. It is essentially a Grand Theft Auto game set up in a prep school. As is the case of Rockstar's games, the title received a large amount of criticism almost immediately upon release for its depiction of violence and the apparent trivializing of bullying. Parents were also concerned that a game by Rockstar was seemingly being marketed to younger audiences. Charities and organizations around the world condemned Bully, and certain stores even refused to stock the game on their shelves. And our last video game for today. Night Trap was a relatively small release for the Sega Mega CD. It was a full motion video title, meaning it was more of an interactive movie rather than a traditional game. Players must protect a group of teenage girls from being murdered. Although no acts of realistic violence or nudity were ever shown on screen, a U.S. Senate hearing into violence in video games misrepresented the content. Major newspapers covered the hearing, and the game was subsequently accused in the national media of being violent towards women, leading to retailers removing it from their shelves. And that's gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Anyway, with that being said, If you made it this far and you actually liked the video, make sure to leave a like. It really lets me know that you want to see more just like this. And if I earned your subscription, make sure to subscribe. We are at 84. We're trying to hit 100 subscribers before August. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to catch you guys in my next video.